Velkommen til Oslo, Norges hovedstad. As they say in Norway, hi. My name is Michelle. I'm the Intrepid Guide, your guide to languages and travel. This is my second time here in Oslo, but this time around I'm here for a language holiday. If you want to find out all about that, then I'm going to link to that in the description below. But today I'm going to show you around the city because I've been here for 2 weeks, so I've had plenty of time to explore the city. Surrounded by mountains and sea, here are the best things to do in Oslo. One of the most charming and picturesque places to visit in Oslo are these two little streets called Damstredet and Telthusbakken, where you'll find wooden houses that date back to the 1700s and 1800s. Well, who knew that Oslo had not just one but several waterfalls? And you can see them all just by walking along this beautifully forested trail that stretches 8 kilometers along the Akerselva River. Located just a couple of minutes walk from Telthusbakken is the Vår Frelsers Gravlund, which is a bit of a tongue twister, but it basically translates to Our Saviour Cemetery. And here you'll find none other than the tombstone of Edvard Munch. That's right, the famous Norwegian painter who painted The Scream. The cemetery was originally established in 1808 as a result of the famine and the cholera epidemic of the Napoleonic Wars, but since then it has become Norway's main honorary burial ground. You'll also find the graves of other famous Norwegians, including the playwright HENRIK IBSEN. Rising out of the waters of Oslo Fjord like a glacier is the Oslo Opera House, or as they say in Norwegian, Operahuset, which is home to the Norwegian National Opera and Ballet. This iconic building was built with the idea that if you can climb mountains, why can't you climb buildings? So that's what they did, and the large white roof that you're seeing behind me angles down to street level, creating a large and inviting pathway for visitors to take all the way to the top, where they get panoramic views over the city of Oslo. The exterior is covered in white Italian marble from Carrara, but don't forget to head inside to see the warm oak interior, where you can also get a guided tour. Floating in the water near the Opera House is this stainless steel and glass sculpture that was designed and created by the Italian artist Monica Bonvicini, and it's called She Lies. The artwork floats on a concrete platform tethered to the harbour floor, allowing it to turn and change based on the tides of the currents. Its subtle movements are a reminder of nature's constant change. Perhaps the most famous and photographed inhabitant in Oslo is this 4.5 metre bronze statue of a tiger, which was gifted to the city of Oslo by a Norwegian real estate firm in the year 2000 when Oslo was celebrating its 1,000-year anniversary. The city of Oslo chose a tiger because of its nickname, the Tiger City. Running through the heart of Oslo's city centre is Karl Johans gate, a long road that stretches all the way up to the Royal Palace. The road was named after King Charles III John, who was also the King of Sweden, as King Charles XIV John. Along the road you'll not only find various important buildings including Parliament, you'll also find shops, restaurants, bars and clubs. Located on a hill at the top of Karl Johans gate is the Royal Palace, which was completed in 1847. Every day you can see the changing of the guard at 1:30, or there is a service in the Palace Chapel at 11 AM on Sundays. The palace boasts 173 rooms, but you can only visit inside the palace during summer when they run guided tours. And they book out quickly, so make sure you book well in advance. Standing in Rådhuset, which is Oslo's City Hall. This building was inaugurated in 1950 and it has been decorated by various great Norwegian artists, including Edvard Munch. Inside the interior you'll see motifs of Norwegian history, culture and working life. And in fact this room here is called the Munch Room because there is a painting by Edvard Munch called Life. Do you know that on the anniversary of Alfred Nobel's death on the 10th of December, Oslo City Hall hosts the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony? It is here that a laureate gives their lecture and is awarded their medal and diploma. And in attendance, of course, is the Norwegian royal family along with the Prime Minister. One of the best things to do in Oslo and the most popular tourist attraction in all of Norway is coming to Frogner Park. This is the world's largest sculpture park made by a single artist, and that artist is Gustav Vigeland. He is Norway's most famous sculptor and woodcarver. To give an idea of the sheer size of this park, it covers 320,000 meters squared or 30 acres. Gustav was fascinated by the human condition, so a lot of the sculptures here are based on life, love, death and relationships. Located nearby and also worth visiting is the Vigeland Museum, which used to be his home and studio. The museum includes Vigeland's earlier works, portraits and even the plaster casts used for the sculptures here in Vigeland Park. One of the important buildings to visit along Karl Johans gate is the Oslo Cathedral, which is used by the Norwegian royal family and the Norwegian government for funerals and weddings. When you head inside, keep an eye out for the stained glass windows that were created by Emanuel Vigeland, who was the little brother of Gustav Vigeland, the same sculpture artist that created all the sculptures in Frogner Park. Located halfway down Karl Johans gate is the Parliament building, or as it's called in Norwegian, Stortinget, which literally translates to the Great Thing or the Great Council. Due to the small size of the building, it cannot hold the current staff of the legislator, so Parliament sometimes meets in buildings in the surrounding area. During summer, free tours run 3 times daily from Monday to Friday. 2 of those are in Norwegian and 1 at 10 AM is in English. One of the best things to do in Oslo is to take a cruise along Oslo Fjord, and if you don't want to take the bus, there's even a boat that takes you to Museum Island, which is called Bygdøy. One of the best things to do in Oslo is something you won't find in any guidebook. That's right, this is an Intrepid Guide exclusive and something I found out from a local. So just behind me is a little island called Lille Herbern, which is just off the coast of the mainland, and it is the shortest boat ride to get out there. And once you get there, there's a restaurant and a little beach, and you can just spend the afternoon there. It's absolutely beautiful. If you like chocolate, then you have to try my favourite Norwegian chocolate, which is called Kvikk Lunsj, and it is produced by Freia. And there's a Freia store located along Karl Johans gate, and inside you can find all sorts of chocolates and sweets that the Freia company produce. In 1889 the company was established, and by the turn of the century it has been Norway's leading producer of chocolate. One of my favourite and best things to do in Oslo is to visit the Folkemuseum. This is the Norwegian Museum of Cultural History. Along with its extensive collection of artefacts from all social groups and regions around the country, it also incorporates an open-air museum with 150 buildings that were relocated here from different towns and rural districts in Norway. One of the museum's most significant buildings is this beautiful 13th century gold-staved church. In one of the buildings there is a cooking demonstration where they make this Norwegian bread called lefse. It's a 17th century recipe, and even the most rich farmers would only eat this twice a year because it had a very expensive ingredient, which was sugar. So let's try it. If you want to get up close to the world's best preserved Viking ships, then you have to come to the Viking Ship Museum. The museum contains 3 burial ships which were all ocean-going vessels until they were hauled onto the land and used as burial ships for the rich and wealthy. Behind me is the Oseberg ship, which is the largest known burial ship in the world. In 2018, the Fram Museum, where I'm standing now, was voted the best museum in Norway, and it's not hard to see why. The museum documents Norwegian polar exploration with 3 expeditions in particular. The museum is situated around an original polar exploration ship called the Fram, hence the name of the museum, and you can even go inside. Not to be missed is a trip to the Kon-Tiki Museum, where you will find the original balsa wood vessel that was sailed in 1947 by the Norwegian explorer Thor Heyerdahl from Peru to Polynesia. The purpose of the expedition was to prove that the early civilizations of South America could travel by sea as far as Polynesia. They spent 101 days at sea and travelled 8,000 kilometres. 1300 AD, there was only about 3,000 inhabitants in Oslo, but it wasn't until King Håkon V decided that he wanted to live here that he created a castle and royal residence called the Akershus Castle. Construction started in 1299 and didn't finish until the early 1300s, and the reason why they chose this particular location is because it has a strategic viewpoint over Oslo Fjord. The castle has also been used as a military base, but today it is now an open museum, and during summer they also run guided tours. Overlooking Oslo city and the fjord is EKEBERGPARKEN, which is a sculpture park with some 40 sculptures scattered around the park. There's a cafe and restaurant up here, and it's just a really nice place to come and spend a lazy afternoon. When Munch passed away in 1944, he left a large portion of his work to the city of Oslo, and they created the Munch Museum, and it is here that you'll find a permanent exhibition of at least over half of his work, including the most famous of his artworks, the Scream. If you want to see the place that inspired Munch to paint the Scream, then you have to head up to EKEBERGPARKEN. He was there at sunset, the sky was blood red, and as he put it, he felt an infinite scream passing through nature. Located 20 minutes northwest of Oslo city is the Holmenkollen ski museum and ski jump. The museum itself covers 4,000 years of Norwegian skiing history as well as polar exploration. After you're done with the museum, make sure you head up to the viewing platform where you'll get panoramic views of Oslo Fjord. The museum also pretty much proves the point that Norwegian children learn how to ski before they learn how to walk. With this display right here, this certain child was only 9 months old when they were skiing. One of the best things to do in Oslo on a lazy summer's afternoon is to come to the Botanical Gardens. There are a total of 6 unique gardens here, but my favourite is the Viking garden. Here you can learn about the Viking life. It includes rocks, plants and different animals that were used during the Viking age, and it's all contained within a 33-metre long Viking ship. Well, that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this video about the best things to do in Oslo, because I've certainly enjoyed taking you around. If you have any questions whatsoever, leave them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you. In the meantime, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, turn on those notifications so you get an alert when I post more videos in the future. And until next time, ha det bra, bye!